What's better than a flavor-packed bowl of crispy fried kimchi rice topped with a perfectly gooey egg? Well, how about all that with an almost 40% calorie decrease? Yes, today we're making kimchi fried rice, to which I made some small tweaks to reduce the calories without actually sacrificing any of the flavors. Before we go through the step-by-step recipe, let's cover the basics and then I'm going to meet you back here for a taste test. Let's go. The star of this dish is, of course, kimchi. Napa cabbage kimchi to be more exact. This works best if you use an older, matured kimchi, like the last part of the one I made almost 2 months ago. So it has a lot of that good kimchi funk in it to infuse our rice. While it can be made without any meat, it is usually cooked with either fried pork belly or fried spam, and topped with a fried egg. These, besides the rice, are the biggest sources of calories, so if you look at the calories of these and compare them with chicken breast, it's easy to see why it's a great alternative if you're interested in reducing calories while also increasing protein. Then, instead of the classic sunny side up egg, I opted for a poached egg. Okay, with that out of the way, let's jump into the recipe. Firstly, to avoid a sticky mess, I recommend using day-old rice. I'm using basmati for that long boy grain. And we're going to need toasted sesame seeds for toppings. So here's how to make your own. Start by placing a pan on medium heat, add the sesame seeds, and using a spatula keep them moving until they start getting some color. Once toasty, take them off the heat and spread them on a wide plate to cool off. Store them in an airtight container in a dark place or in the fridge for up to 6 months. Next up, let's prepare the chicken. Alright, now cut into bite-sized pieces 240 grams or a bit over half a pound of chicken breast. That's enough for 4 portions. Make sure you clean your surface well after working with raw chicken. And press the like button, then consider clicking on the subscribe button and then click on the real subscribe button. Thank you. Now, season the chicken with 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and 1 teaspoon of neutral tasting frying oil. I'm using sunflower oil. Place the chicken on a medium heat pan, and I recommend using a larger pan so that you don't overcrowd the pan like I did. Cook it for 5 to 6 minutes or until it looks something like this. Take it out, and while it cools off, let's take care of the other ingredients, starting with the green onions, also known as scallions. We're only using the green and the pale green part. Then trim off any bad looking parts. Set aside a piece that we're going to prepare for garnish. To do that, cut them at an angle. This produces these cool looking pieces. Next up, dice a medium sized onion, and then we can move on to the kimchi. First, drain off the remaining kimchi juice, which we'll need when cooking the rice. Then dice the kimchi in small pieces, but not too small, as we still want the kimchi to be distinguishable in the finished dish. If you're wondering if I'm crazy to cut kimchi on a wooden board and how it's going to remain stained red forever, well, you tell me, does this look stained? Yeah, so if you clean it right away, you will be fine. Now we're ready to start frying. So add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to a heavy bottomed saute pan on medium heat. Then add the yellow onion along with a pinch of salt. Saute it for 1 minute, then grate 2 cloves of garlic, minced works too. Saute it for 1 minute, then add the kimchi. Keep moving it as it fries. Do this for about 2 minutes, or until the kitchen is filled with the amazing smell of kimchi. At which point we can add the chicken. And since it's already cooked, we just need to stir it until it's well coated in the red, vibrant color of kimchi. Now add the rice, and you should know the drill by now. Stir it until it gets nicely colored. Now add 1, 2, 3 and 4 tablespoons of the kimchi juice. Mix it all up, and finally we can add the green onion. I like to add it near the end so that it keeps most of its crunch and the fresh color. Finish it with 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame oil and turn the heat on high. Now keep it on high heat for about 1 minute. This is what's going to take this dish to the next level, as it's going to build a nice crispy crust on the bottom, something similar to the paella's socarat. And at this point you can taste for seasoning. Mine needed a bit more salt, so I added some soy sauce. With the rice done, it's time to make the poached egg. So let me walk you through my foolproof method. Firstly, in a small saucepan filled 2/3 up with water, add 8 grams of white vinegar and a pinch of salt, or 8 grams. As the water is heating up, prepare a small bowl and a medium-sized bowl with a sieve on top. The water needs to reach a low simmer and a temperature of around 85 degrees Celsius or 185 Fahrenheit. Now take a medium-sized egg and crack it in the sieve. This helps separate the watery egg white, which will eliminate the formation of those wispy strains. Transfer the egg in a small bowl, and as the water reaches that 85 Celsius/185 Fahrenheit temperature, turn the heat on low and stir the water with a spoon to create a vortex. This helps keep the egg white all in one place when we add it in the water. Now slowly add the egg in the middle of the vortex. Let it poach for about 3 to 4 minutes. This depends on the size of the egg. When it floats on top, it should be almost done. You can take it out a bit to check for the consistency. I left mine for an additional 30 seconds. Transfer it on a plate with paper towel if you're doing several of them. Now let's plate this goodness, shall we? So in goes the fried rice, followed by the green onions, then the poached egg, topped with toasted nori, a generous sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds, and an optional drizzle of that sesame oil. Now before we taste this, let's look over the calorie breakdown. This serving clocks in at just shy of 400 calories with 31 grams of carbs, 21 grams of fat and 27 of protein. This looks pretty good, especially if we compare it with the more usual spam and fried egg alternative. That's a 38% calorie difference.